Yeah, everything is ready, Master.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. First of all, today I'd like to on behalf of all of us, share our condolences to Shannon and to Nu, because Shannon just lost her mother, Catherine, and then Nu just recently lost her brother. So our heartfelt condolences goes to them. We take good care of them and hopefully try to get them to the Pureland as soon as possible. That you have my word. Okay, today also we have some announcements. I think Sarah is ready to make the announcement. Am I correct? She's the announcer. Yes. It's about the Pureland Handbook number 1. Usually number 1 in English, I believe, is in numeral 1, not regular 1 here. That numeral 1 and the Roman numeral. Thank you. And that's our tradition. But for the Koreans, it might be different. They don't have that Roman numeral tradition. For them, 1 and Roman numeral 1 are the same. Okay. Look at this, huh? Look at this. You like the Pureland Handbook number 1 in Korean? That's what it's going to look like. Yeah? First of all, it's translated by our So Young. I call her So Old. Oh, God. She's a lot older than she likes to think. They're so old, and she did really a good job. She spent so much time working with us. This is what it takes. This Pureland Buddhism it sounds simple, but actually is based on very profound principles that very sound Mahayana principles. Pureland Buddhism is Mahayana Buddhism. So therefore, So Young had to work with very closely with us. And to do the proper translation. Actually, credit should be granted to where it's due. Actually, she caught a few of the inaccuracies in our English Pureland Handbook as well. Yes? So Old really did an excellent job, and she took a long time to do that. We're very grateful. A good start for Korean Pureland Buddhism. So good job, So Old, huh? We thank you. It's a lot of pain and suffering for her to go through this process. And not only did she have to struggle with her own personal demons, she also had to work with our manic people as well. So it's double jeopardy for all involved. And that's the way it is with us. It's never easy. Everything we do is not that easy. Perhaps because the standards are so high. Okay? So I'm very pleased with this thing here, because based on the question that she asked us, I believe that she's so thorough and so accurate in her translation, because the questions she asked in Chinese are very, 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 very good. Your questions, the questions told me the level of accuracy of the comprehension, level of comprehension. Okay, so I think there's more slides in this. So this is from a press release. Who wrote this press release, by the way? Anyone knows?
I'm not sure exactly who did, but the publisher, YongHua, they're the one who reviewed this book.
So from the publisher, it says, Pureland Buddhism became well known by great master YongHua. Do we have a photo of him? See, I listen to you differently. I look at people first before I listen to what they have to say. Okay, so show me a picture so that I know what kind of person which level this person is before I take whatever you say seriously. Okay. In a way, that's why people don't want to come and see me, because I can look at them and say, you shouldn't be talking about this. Or I won't even bother answering your question because it's a stupid question. Even if I explain it to you, you won't be able to understand it anyway. So why should I waste my time explaining to you? Okay, so Master YongHua historically has been a long tradition of practicing Chan and Pureland in parallel. Okay, Shuang Xiu. So in Korea, is it true in Korea that do you know, the Sunims know, the Koreans, do you know that there's a tradition of parallel practice of Pureland and Chan in Korea? I'm curious, because if you talk about Pureland and Chan practice, that means you must be able to understand both Pureland and master Chan as well. Otherwise, it couldn't be one way or the other. You understand? You cannot say it's the same. Okay? So if like in the Koreans later, Master Sung Chol, he advocated Son, Chan. So no Pureland at all. So it looks like this. The picture of Mahayana looks like this. Presented looks like this. More Pureland on this side and little Son on this side. Either you won't become enlightened, you won't go to the Pureland at all. That's in parallel. Does it make sense to you? That's why it's called parallel. It's called fairness. Okay? You won't make it. So that's why we practice Chan, Pureland in parallel. We agree? Or you make it. You become enlightened. And you go to the Pureland. Then it's parallel. Otherwise you say, I become enlightened and you and I maybe I go to the Pureland, then it's not really equal. Yes? And if you say, I only go to the Pureland, I don't practice Chan, and what are the chances of going to the Pureland? Very small, because you don't know how to enter the Samadhi. Okay? If you really understand how to recite the Buddha's name, you never dare say that I only practice Pureland, I don't practice Chan. Similarly, you really understand Chan, you never say, I only practice Chan, I don't do Pureland. That's stupidity. I'm guilty of that, by the way. I was guilty of that. I said, when I first started, I said, Chan, I love Chan. Never mind about Pureland. Besides, Master YongHua's teaching of Pureland is so scattered, it's so unclear. It's only in the Chinese part that's not translated. Maybe because it's spread out all over, and maybe because it's very difficult to spot, or even if it's spotted by his disciples, they said, no, we can't explain this, we can't justify this. That's why people's not going to believe it, so that's it. Avoid translating this, okay, into English, into Vietnamese, into Espanol, and all those things, okay. But actually, Master YongHua's Pureland teaching has pretty advanced part. That's not typical of the Chinese Pureland teaching at all, okay. So that's why that's why he's not even recognized as a Pureland patriarch yet by the Chinese, because they don't understand, the Chinese don't understand the level, the height and the depth of his teachings. Anyway, it's a Chinese thing. Okay, we are American. Was it Vietnamese or American? I forget. More American than Vietnamese. Okay, so our Pureland actually is in parallel with Chan, because you can become enlightened through the Wei Yang Pureland. You can become also enlightened through American Pureland as well, or you can go to the Pureland without being enlightened as well. Okay, and that's why it's complete Pureland Buddhism. Because Pureland Buddhism, you're supposed to be able to become enlightened as well, not just go to the Pureland. The way that the Chinese do it nowadays, they only hope. They tell each other, let's hope we go to the Pureland. That's what the Asian Pureland Buddhism is. Okay, American Buddhism, Pureland Buddhism, we expect become enlightened with reciting Buddha's name. Actually, it's very advanced Dharma door, or we can go to the Pureland if we don't make it. Okay, so that's why it's truly Chan and Pureland parallel practice. Okay, which you will not find too many teachers who are doing that. Master YongHua is the last teacher who did that. I don't think the second patriarch is capable of doing that. Okay, so anyway, I hope I'm proven wrong. But maybe when he dies or something. Oh, that's him. Why he doesn't look very happy, does he? It's a drawing, not a photo, right? Yes?
Master, it's a drawing, and then he's, I don't know what year, but he's really, I don't know, is it like year 500? There's no photo at the time. So we're not even sure how accurate this drawing is.
Okay, but it's a nice drawing. Thank you. Good research. So what's the Chinese name for what is the Chinese characters? The nice thing about Pureland Buddhism, it really has no lineages, if you will. That's the difference between Pureland Buddhism versus Chan. Chan has a clear lineage. You belong to the lineage or not. So the teaching is verified to be proper. Whereas Pureland Buddhism is only recognized later after they die. And so that's why honestly speaking, you require a lot more blessings to be able to make it, because you don't know one from the other. Okay? As I explain to you more as we go along, that basically, I don't like Asian Buddhism, Pureland Buddhism at all. I feel that it's becoming superstition, Asian Pureland Buddhism. Okay, and you can see that the one thing you can recognize that the way the Asian practice Pureland Buddhism is that they have an attitude. You notice that? These people say, I belong to this Pureland group. I recite Buddha's name only. Okay, I know more about this than you. My master is more famous than you. Okay, if you really understand Pureland Buddhism, you should be more humble. Because you know why? Why is that? Because can you imagine Amitabha Buddha? You look at Amitabha Buddha and you say, I came from Master so and so. Okay, I practiced with him. Amitabha, him? Really? Get out of here. We don't allow arrogant people into the Pureland. You realize that? Huh? These arrogant people is going to create chaos in the Pureland. Because in the Pureland, there's so many sages over there. How dare you walk around thinking, I'm so special, I'm so much better than you, my master is so and so. Their teachers are nobodies in the Pure Land at all. Their teachers would be like, deserve to be janitors in the Pure Land. Seriously. So what's there to be proud of? If you're a janitor in the Pure Land, your level as a janitor in the Pure Land, would you dare teach your disciples to be arrogant? Really? Well, let me rephrase that. If you're high, you would not dare teach your disciples to be arrogant because you lose faith. Okay, next, number 4. As Korea progressed through the Japanese rule and liberation from Japan, what year is that? 1945, I say. Second World War ended 1945. Okay, so that's when it ended. And then 1956, North Korea invaded South Korea or something like that. Okay, so in 1940s, so they free from Japan. And to praise the Son practice and downgrade the Pure Land practice. Okay? And that shows that these people don't understand Pure Land at all. They have no results. And the belief has been covertly passed down to the present era. Is not well known not as well known as China, Taiwan, Japan. Let me put it this way. The Chinese have a lot of Pure Land patriarchs, so yes, it's very strong there. Taiwanese have very good teachers. I think of one, Tzu Hang, who is a 7th crown Bodhisattva. At that level, he should begin to appreciate Pure Land more. Below that, I don't expect the Chan master to appreciate Pure Land Buddhism at all, by the way. You can tell right away that when the Chan master says, I only practice Chan, I don't teach Pure Land, the level is not high enough to comprehend the power or superiority of Pure Land Buddhism. So Tzu Hang, in Taipei, he's a 7th ground Bodhisattva, fat monk, very unusual. That's why it's 7th ground Bodhisattva. Maybe at that level they begin to appreciate it. He still doesn't get it, but okay. So Taiwan, so it has better roots for Pure Land Buddhism, okay. But it's the same kind of trend nowadays. The Taiwanese are leaning more on the Chan, and Pure Land is becoming superstition. They just believe each other, nonsense. And Japan, I don't know much about Japan Pure Land Buddhism, except it's believed by many queens and emperors and wives and concubines of the feudal lords and the shogun and so forth. So it's strong in Japan, but I don't like Japanese Buddhism in general because it's subservient to royalty, Japanese royalty. If you really have Buddhism, I used to respect the Zen masters like who is it? Dogen, maybe? The guy who's a Japanese monk who built Eihiji. 7th.
Yeah, that is Dogen.
Dogen, okay. That guy has spine because he refused to kowtow to the emperor. Okay, a lot of Japanese monks kowtow to the shoguns and the emperors in order to get their support. What are you doing asking support from emperors or from lay people? Don't you understand? If the lay people, the emperor, don't support you, it's their loss, not your loss. What are you talking about? Seriously, you don't understand Buddhism at all. Okay, the great emperors, Chinese emperors, okay, they supported Buddhism because they know it's to their benefit and to their children's benefit. That's why the great emperors in China who supported Buddhism, like in the Tang dynasty, that dynasty there lasted for a few centuries because the emperors were strong supporters of Buddhism. Whereas the other Chinese emperors who didn't support Buddhism or even attack and ostracize Buddhism, they didn't last very long, did they? Isn't it clear, historically speaking? So what are you doing, kowtowing to the emperors? Okay, so that's what I don't like about Japanese Buddhism. They have that tradition, whereas the Chinese, it's much cleaner tradition where it said, no, you're emperor, I am a monk. Okay, so it's a dual system. That's why it has to come here to the U.S. where actually we have separation from church and state. You state do your own things and we do our things. Okay, and that's why this land here is appropriate for to inherit the Chinese Buddhism, because now Chinese Buddhism is under the control of the state. It's not gonna. We don't tolerate it. Okay, we don't survive in that kind of environment. Yeah. Because how can politicians run Buddhism? That's not possible. Okay. So that's why I'm less enthused about Japanese Buddhism the more I look at it. So Dogen used to be, he built Eihiji, the biggest temple there, in Chan temple there. He have a strong tradition. He's enlightened, clearly, from his teaching. Not very high level, but he's enlightened. And you see, enlightened people would not kowtow to lay people. Isn't it clear to you? Why would you kowtow to idiots? Seriously, if you're enlightened. So, if you see a monk and a nun who kowtows to lay people, run. Don't waste your time. However, the interest in Pureland Buddhism is gradually increasing. In Korea, it means. And this circumstance is truly meaningful to introduce a book that systematically explains Pureland Buddhism. Next, this book describes the overall contents and cultivation methods of Pureland Buddhism and uses languages that's easy to understand. Yes, it's the introduction. The book provides specific and systematic, it's repetitive here, on Pureland Buddhism, including basic concept of Pureland Buddhism, and how to practice reciting Buddha's name. Okay. Introduction, this long, really? And Chan parallel practice. Okay, now, can we agree on something here? In the U.S., we don't like to use the word parallel practice anymore, because we don't want this, because the Tibetans have this parallel practice that we don't disapprove of, where it's not good for Buddhism at all. It's very difficult for people to become enlightened. You practice their parallel practice. I don't see how they can become enlightened at all, to be honest with you. But it's none of my business. Okay, I'm not Tibetan. I have no interest. Okay, so parallel practice in English. Let's avoid this term because it's being corrupted by the Tibetans. Okay, if I were Tibetan, if I were the Dalai Lama and those future Dalai Lamas, I would hope that the next Dalai Lama will take a stand and say, this Pureland, this parallel practice that's being advocated by a Tibetan sect is incorrect Buddhism. It's not going to bring enlightenment to you. It's It's the spiritual leaders who must take a stand, okay? I'm taking a stand because I'm a nobody, but someone has to take a stand, okay? And make noises because second patriarch is not taking a stand. If Master YongHua, if we were alive, I would ask him that question. Do you think that Tibetan Pureland, Tibetan parallel practice is proper? I would dare ask him that question. I expect his answer to be no. Okay? Okay, so that's called Chan and Pureland joint practice to avoid the word parallel. Yes, joint practice. All right? Is it joint or parallel? I don't know. You Chinese people check the Tibetan thing, whatever that sect calls that joint, men and women, parallel practice. Is it parallel or joint? Oh no, they call it joint, I think. Someone helps me. It's been a while. Whatever the Tibetan use, either joint, and then we use parallel. When they use parallel, we use joint. Okay? I reject, personally, I reject that Tibetan form of practice. I don't care what Dalai Lama has to say about it even. And how to cope with death. Yes, death is something that even the monks and nuns don't know much about. Okay? That's why, for example, you can tell. You can tell people who don't understand death at all. You can tell that people would recommend you should go to the heavens. Right there's the proof they don't understand. If you go to the heavens, it's wonderful. However, you'll be stuck there for billions of years. You go to the Christian heaven, Catholic heaven, you'll be stuck there how many years? Lifespan is 9.4 billion years compared to ours. Human years. You'll be stuck there. You live there for 9 billion years, and after that, you fall. You will not be able to ascend higher. Okay? Most of you. Okay? So, because for 9 billion years, you enjoy too much. Therefore, you exhaust your heavenly blessings very quickly. All right. So that's why these people, they will fall. Besides, they're being attacked by the asuras constantly. The asuras are watching them day and night, and plus the heavenly demons are assisting the asuras as well. That's why that God, King, has to come to Shakmini Buddha to ask for help. He couldn't handle it. If you have the heavenly demons have you in their crosshairs, you're not going to do well. Okay, and only in Mahayana do we know more about what happens after you die. In particular, we teach you only enough for you to navigate through this time, this transition period that happens during the 49 days after you die. That's Mahayana knowledge. Okay, all right. So, hey, that's it. Any questions or comments? Why are we doing this? We're doing this because I have affinities with the Koreans. I like them because they're respectful. You're not respectful, don't expect to be able to go to the Pure Land. Trust me. You can't even be respectful. Who's going to help you? So we help you go to the Pure Land because you can't make it on your own. And then you are not respectful for that kind of Dharma that saves your skin. Then why should we help you? We're not talking about faith yet. I'm just talking about simple, proper etiquette. Huh? How can someone is helping you and you're not respectful? Why should they help you? Seriously. Huh? Is that the attitude you have? Okay, then go somewhere else. Seriously. And you imagine you have the attitude, the problem with having a bad attitude is it carries through when you die, after you die. And when you see Amitabha Buddha and you have the same attitude, I'm doing you a favor going to your Pure Land, you hear? Amitabha, oh, thank you so much. I'm so grateful you're coming to my Pure Land. Oh, we appreciate you. All the sages that will be so excited you're coming to join them. That's a big picture, folks. Huh? You understand? The teacher don't dare tell them that because they don't know what happens. How dare you go to the Pure Land with a bad attitude, an arrogant attitude? Well, you're an idiot and you're surrounded and you sit next to the sages, a bodhisattva who's meditating, is reciting Buddha's name. You say, I'm better than you. Give me more room. And why would Amitabha bring you in and cause that kind of problems for the residents? Maybe bring you to their prison, yeah, but certainly not the good neighborhoods. Make sense? Don't blame me. I told you, when you go there, you happen to go there and you find yourself in prison, and you say, Master YongHua did warn me that I have a bad attitude. I need some attitude adjustment first before I can join the general population. Make sense? Okay, so I like the Korean in that they have proper protocol. Yes, they look down upon me because I'm not Korean. I know that. Okay, but they want to see the results of our Dharma. They believe very quickly. Results in what? Sitting in meditation, you see results very quickly. Okay, and they're depressed. They get help very quickly. It's funny. I used to have a disciple who got an abortion, and she's depressed like crazy. And he came to me, and then I said, "Well, that we need to take care of your aborted child." So we took care of the aborted child. Immediately, the depression went away. Okay, that's about results. Okay, so the Koreans, they pick it up very fast because they see results, and that's why they're respectful. Okay, so they have a lot of. I don't mind. I don't think that I have any problems. A lot of problems helping them go to the Pure Land at all. So I'm very excited about the publisher, over there in Korea, deciding to. Work with us, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for So Old to help translate, to set the standards, okay, for the jargon, our jargon, but understand that this is quite different from Asian Pure Land Buddhism. This is American Pure Land Buddhism. We are much more comprehensive than the Chinese Pure Land Buddhism. And guess what? Truth is that after Master YongHua is gone, we are picking it up because they're not doing it. His disciples are not doing it. So we have to do it. Okay? And I have the green light from him a few months ago to go ahead and teach. Okay, we started something like 6 months ago, yes, with this translation. So things are happening. Okay, we started translating this maybe like several months ago. Yeah. 1 year, took 1 year. A year ago, we just translated. We didn't know that it would be published at all. And a few months ago, we worked with this publisher here. He decided to take a chance with us, and so things are happening. It's a good thing, and I'm very excited about this opportunity that we're gonna. He also agreed. He's also interested in translating the Chan Handbook 1 and Chan Handbook 2 as well into Korean, so that we're gonna have truly Chan and Pureland in parallel. I think parallel is the word we use, not joint. Joint is Tibetan. Good Lord. So in parallel, so that's what we're gonna do in Korea, and so I hope more of you Sunims will become enlightened. Okay, so that you can understand more about Son and about Pure Land Buddhism. In particular, I challenge you young Sunims, third generation of Weiyang, because that's what we do. I'm teaching you and transmitted to you the Weiyang training tradition to the third generation, and I intend to pass all of my knowledge when possible, okay, to you, so that you'll be stronger than my generation under Master YongHua. Okay, and that's my attitude. You need to bring something more to the table, otherwise you just me too. So what's the point? Who needs you? But I challenge you, Sunims, to apply yourselves. Time is of the essence. Apply yourself, so that why don't you set a goal for yourself to exceed Sung Cho Sunim's level? How's that? That's my attitude. Okay, I feel it's feasible. I feel, for example, my disciples will not be able to reach Master YongHua's level, but they certainly have proven they can exceed his disciples' levels already. And I want them to continue to put more distance between them and my disciples and his disciples. That's my contribution to Buddhism. I'm much lower than Master YongHua, to be honest with you. I don't expect to be able to catch up with him. He's too far ahead of me. Okay, but I feel his disciples haven't learned much from him at all. So it's not that hard to beat them. Okay, so same thing for you Korean Sunims. My attitude has always been, let the Vietnamese teach the Vietnamese, let the Koreans teach the Koreans, Chinese teach the Chinese, Taiwanese teach the Taiwanese. Okay, I have no business teaching the Taiwanese nor the Koreans. Okay, what I do is I train you so that you teach your own kind. Okay, so, and I repeat, my interest is for you to be better than the previous Sunims. Okay? You here in the US are better than the Weiyang people in China already. That's why Weiyang is here in the US. You go to China, you have to find Weiyang patriarchs there, teachers there, but they're well hidden. But even if you find them, you will not be as well trained as in the US. Okay, same thing. You Korean Sunims, you should you should reach higher levels than the Sung Cho and those YongHua Sunim, Sung Cho Sunim, and so forth. That's very feasible, okay? And do it quickly so that I can retire quickly. Okay? That's me. I'm very impatient. I'm lazy. I look forward to retirement. Okay? Unlike the Buddhas, I like to retire. Questions or comments? Okay, then let's do the lunch offering. Thank you all.